Today we're going to make a social window. We're going to start with the search. We're going to start by opening up the client-side DOM. We're going to make a class called whoData. whoData. This would be have a parent of the same name. It's going to be a type data. It's going to be information about the players online. We're going to add a parent class underscore whoData. This will have a few fields in here we're going to use to gather about information about the player. We're going to add a few fields to that. We're going to add whoClass. This will be the class of the player, and we're going to add whoLevel. This is the level of the player. After we create these, we're going to copy them to the server for both the fields and the class. Once we've copied them to the server, we will be able to add our fields to our class here. If we were to add them to the class and then try to copy them, it would give errors for the class that we would need to remake on the server side. So we're going to copy it before adding it. Next we'll go to the server side. Server DOM. Here we'll have our whoData has been copied, and our fields will be copied in. Our whoLevel and whoClass. And here we just need to add in our fields to the class. Okay, then back to the client-side DOM. I'm going to create a new class called social_window. It's going to be a type GUI control, and this part is going to be our search window. Here we're going to add a parent of window. We're also going to make another class called socialPanel. It's also going to be a GUI control, and these will be the individual panels holding the player information. The GUI panel will be the parent class. Next we'll make two fields here. First one will be a string called sockname or social name, whichever way you like. Will be sockname. Next we'll make a field called whoDataList. This is going to be a lookup list type. It's going to be a lookup list indexed by the string class whoData. And what that will do is we'll give our name from the sock name coming in, and it will be able to access that player's data when we need it. Next we'll add those two fields to our social window. Add sockname, name of the selected player, and the whoDataList, which will be our lookup list. Then we'll also add a timer as a generic field. This is already created. We've used it before. Okay, next we'll go to the scripts. In our script, window class methods, we're going to add a check for the sizes of the windows so that it doesn't zero them out. The GUI loc window be at the bottom of the script. If info win size does not equal 0, and if info win size y does not equal 0, we're going to set the size x and info equals the info if those don't equal 0. Otherwise, we're going to skip over those. Then we can compile and submit this script. And we'll be heading to social window. Click open on the client-side DOM. Here we'll add in the start method, which will contain our create the window. It will have a social win for our GUI window lookup. then we'll be commenting out, adding the call to B social server class methods load social list, and this will be created after, so we're going to comment it out for now. We're also going to call B update timer. We're also going to grab the toggle social window from the toggle window groups. We're going to add make sure it's almost minimum here. It's just going to destroy and start for our toggles. Next, we'll create our timer. This will be to start for the updates, so that every 15 seconds it will update our information that displays in the search window, so we don't have to constantly click a button. My timer stays on, stop it, set a new fire rate, 15 seconds, and then start it up again. If you want to change that longer or shorter might create a little lag at times. Timer to show updates. Here's where in our my timer tick, which is the method that is called when this counts down to 0. We'll call me, update the timer to start it again, and we'll call a server, B social server class methods, load the local social list. And we'll also comment this one out before saving it. Next, we're going to create this could be a remote function called from the server side. It's going to be set search info. It's going to contain our who list from the B who data. Start by getting our social class, set B who data list, which is saved directly on the window. If the window's closed, we don't need the list, and that will equal our incoming who list. Players class who data, who's list of class who data, and for each value that's in our who list coming in, we're going to set the player as the class to that who list with the value, which is the current name of the player. We're going to add back that player to our who list, which is going to send it to our show to search info by calling a win search info who. Next, we'll make our actual function method that shows it on screen. We're going to show the list of players. It's going to come in with the who value. This will be a full list of the whole class. We're going to set the search equal to get search area. It's going to be created below. And for each child in the search area children, we're going to destroy the node. It's our panels that will be created, and they will be cleared out so we don't have groups of panels that are over and over. Next, we'll define our panel as a node ref class GUI panel and a label, a node ref of GUI label, and our Y position will be the current location within that list. We'll display it in the correct place. Now we're going to create our list for each player in the who. We're going to create the panel from prototype, B social window. We're going to build it to set the true, and we're going to set our panel position Y to the Y pos. This will make sure they're all spaced out evenly. The next part is where we gather our info, and we're going to call a label for each one. It's going to find control by name, that panel that's created, and the name. And the text is going to have the player underscore who character name. That's some of the info that will be coming in. Label, find control, panel class, and here we're going to set the text equal to a null value. It's going to not show anything at present until we get the info from the server. Client side will be calling our start, which will jump to the server to get our info. Our timer will start. It will then come down set that search info coming in from the server and call our show window right away. This will trigger these so they won't have info for everything right away, and they'll be added in. Next one will have a label find control for the panel area. And the text for that will be the player who area. And we have a left parentheses, player who area instance ID, and another parentheses. What this will do is get the area name and show its instance, so the player will be in a certain instance. Then we have the next label, find control by group. This will be panel group, and that will tell you how many are in that player's group currently. Right now we're going to start with just a 1 value. Then we add back this panel to the search area children, and what that will do is display it in our list. And then we add to get 15 for our next panel size. At the bottom, or another place on that GUI, we're going to do a label by control. This will be me search dot amount. That's where it's looking for, and the label, the text label that displays will be players colon and who lit. This will display the amount of players in that list. Tell you how many players are currently being searched for. Next, we're going to have an update info, and this will fill in the values that have been blank from above. It'll be a who as who data, and it's going to come player by player into the list. It'll be pretty quickly. We're going to start with the Windows social class. We're going to set up our who list as a lookup list indexed who data, and this is going to currently be our win who data list. So that's the list that's currently saved on the GUI itself. And we're going to fill that who list with the who character name. So the name who's coming in will equal our who value. And we save that list with the win be who data list equals who list. It updates that player in our list. Then we get search equals the search area. We're going to point directly at that list. We're not going to delete it this time. We'll set up our label, and we're going to say for each child in the search list, the label is going to find control child name. This is going to look at our name category, and we're going to say if that name equals the who character data name that's coming in, then we're going to set the values for that player. We'll start with the class. Will be who class, fields that we made, and the find control level text will be who level. And our group here, we can add in the 1 or leave it off. This is where it's going to be set to 1, but the actual group value will be coming in with it instead of just the 1. Next, we have our mouse drag, and we're going to set the social win in here. You'll do the same with the character pointer, window info from that there. It'll set the info X position, the Y position, and save it back out when it's dragged, and then save it to the server. Then we have our get social class with the be social window and the be social window here in the game layer. Then our method will be set search area as a GUI control. This one will be search scrollable client area. Okay, then we should be able to compile and submit. If we are not able to fully submit it, remember to comment out these calls to a script that is not quite written yet. We're going to write that next. Okay, next we're going to have the B social server, the class that we made in the server DOM. Here we're going to gather the player info. It's going to be the name, level, and area. And it's going to load the social list. Untrusted function. The account will be set up with the remote client. Here we're going to call area 0, instance 0. What that is the world server. And you shouldn't make too many calls to it unless you need to gather info. Here we're going to call it function get world list, and that's one we're going to make using that player's account so it knows who to send that info to. Now, this is going to be a remote function, even though it's in the same script and it's being called from it. It's on the world server, which is on a different server than the one calling this function. Get world list will contain account number coming in. It's going to make a variable who list, and that's going to world get list of everyone online. This function can be found in another script. I'll show you that in a minute after we create this function. And we're going to call client account B social window class method set search info who list. We're going to display it, and that will be our account where we send it to. Then we'll set up the next part for gathering the other data that's not there yet. We'll get searching player info, area send, and the instance send, where we're going to gather that info from. They're both IDs, and we're going to call where's player. We're going to send the account, the area send, and the instance send will be filled when where's player comes back. Next, we'll create a loop. Go to each area to get the player data. For each who that is in our who list for every player online, we're going to set the area as an ID by the who list based on the player's name who and the who area ID that came back. The instance as an ID for the who list for that player in the who area instance. What this will do is go to each area that player is in, gather their info from the server of that player, and then come back following it into get player data. This will have the account, the who list who from the values here, and our area send instance send, so we know who to send it back to, that data, and what area they are in. Next will be our get list of everyone online, and this can be found in a script called he who is on the server, and it sends it back as a list of class. We're going to make that into a lookup list by the player's name. So we're going to change this just a little. Instead of the add back who at the bottom, we're going to create the who list based on the who character's name, and the who will be in there. We're going to save the data by that player's name. So we have the lookup list created with who data. The who is an individual person with who data, the area, and the instance of the current player. The player who area instance will be filling in to find out where this player is at. So for everyone in online players, it's a C++ function call that will get our list of players, and for each player that's in that list, we're going to call where is that player, and it's going to set their area and instance for us. Then we're going to gather the who data for the player, the area ID, instance, the area name, which uses the area. We'll get the character's name, and we'll get the account name based on the world get account in player. This will then be saved in our list, and we will return that list back up to here where we get that list in the get world, and we will send that list to there. Get search info on the client side. After that, we're going to have our get player data. This is going to be a remote function based on where this character is located. We're going to send in our account so we know who to send the info back to. The who will be our who data, and this will be the area and instance on where that player comes from. We're going to set up the account, player account, as a class E player account equals who data, who account ID. Now, if the account does not equal none, that player is not offline. We're going to say that set up the character as a player character equals the account get my char, and if that char is not there, it's not on that character is in particular is being played, then it will go into here and say the player as class B who data equals that who player B who class. We're just going to set an arbitrary value for now. We're going to just set ranger or wizard, one of the two base models they have, and then we're going to set the player B who level equals the char E level. That's currently in there to gather their player level, so we know what their level is at present. Now we're going to call the area send. That's the sender who's sending that info, and the instance, and we're going to send that player data back to the original caller using the account and the player values that we set up here. That's going to be a remote function as it's in a different area, the player who asked for the info. And here we're going to send in the account and the who of the player that he currently has info for. We're going to call client account B search social window class methods update info, and that will be our for that player on his list. Then we should be able to compile and submit this script. Once we do that, we can then go back to the original one here and uncomment our two calls to the server, and then compile and submit this script, and it should link these two calls up. Next, we have in our B exit window, in our mouse click function, we're going to toggle off the minimap call, and we're going to add in B social window class methods toggle social window. And this will let us do our search window right from that exit part. Next, we're going to create the GUI, so we can close down the script. Okay, in the GUI editor, we're going to create a B social panel. What this will be is from our script getter class, we will inherit from GUI panel and use the class as the social panel as the class. Then we'll click create, and it should give us the B social panel. To this, we're going to set a few values. Okay, we're going to set our dock mode to the top. We're going to set our Y size to 15, so it'll be 15 tall. And we're going to set our default state presentation color to transparent by making it 0. Then we're going to add in some labels. There's going to be 5 labels. Each one will have a name that is set. The first one is name. It's going to have a size. It's going to be 80 by 15. The dock mode is going to be left, so it's going to always stick on the left side of the main thing, the main panel. Okay, we're going to set the text to name. The display font will be jumbo. This will make it a little clearer to see. It's not thin lined. We're going to set a drop shadow value of 1. Justification will just verify it's on the left. And we're going to pick a default state presentation color. I picked green for this one here. Our next one's going to be the class. Have a name of class. The size will be 60. Dock mode left. Display font jumbo. This drop shadow 1 and a color green. A fast way to get that would be to grab the name, put the mouse off, hit Control C to copy. Then go back to the main panel, Control V, and you'll have almost duplicate of this one here. And you can copy, paste the next 4 in if you like, and then change the values that will be changing. The name will be set. We'll go for level. Name will be level. Size on this one will be 40. It'll have the dock mode. Our text will be LVL. It's kind of a small feature in there. Couldn't spell it out, but it might run into the next value that's up there. Our display font and the shadow should be already set. And our default color should be set. Next we'll do the area. Change the name to area. Size on this will be 110 because we might have some long area names. Dock mode already set. Display font set. Drop shadow set. And text should be area. For our group, right now I've abbreviated that for group size. This will have a name of group. Size will be 40. Probably won't have more than double digit for group size. So it's not going to be a too big of one. The text will be G space S. And it should have the other values in there from the copy save. Okay, then we'll save that one and close the editor. Next, we'll go for the B social window. Type that in on our create prototype name. Inherit from B window. Class name will be also B social window. Here we'll have the social window will be started. We're going to have the top panel, the bottom panel, the background, the left and right. And here we're going to add a panel to the social window. So we'll go back to the GUI editor, search for panel, and double click that to add it. This will be the size of the main area minus the border line. So it's going to be position 55. The name will be search. The size will be 340 by 240. And its anchor will be true on all sides. It's going to change if the window changes size. Then we're going to have a default value of 0 for the color, transparent, so that we can see the stuff that's inside of it. Inside, we're going to paste a label. It's going to be type label. Name will be title. Our dock mode will be set to top. And our size will be 25 tall. We'll type text will be social. We're going to set the display font to large. And drop shadow 1. We're going to set justify to the center. And our color on this one is going to be all ones or white. next one is going to be the info panel. We're going to add another panel to it. And select this as your main, add the panel. Here we're going to add a small spacer for a line. This is going to have a dock mode of bottom in your info section. It's going to be size of 1 tall. It will have, which should probably be the labels color, which I have as green. Next, we will, in our info here, we're going to copy paste in our social panel, put that right in here, and then from there we will grab each one of these and drag and pull it to the info up here, and you'll get these to fill right in as you drag them in. Then we'll take the social panel and delete that out, hitting the delete key, click OK, and it'll be out of there. Next we'll add a B scrollable one we made. We're going to add that in underneath in the search window, underneath the rest, and it will have these parts already set up. And the last thing we will add is another label. We're going to call this one amount. This will display our amount of players online or in our search window. Position will be 5'5", size 100 by 20. The text will be players. Our display font will be jumbo, drop shadow 1. Justification will be on the left. And here we're just going to set this one to white, all 4 ones. And then we save and close this editor. Okay, our GUIs are currently not showing, so we'll hit Control G to make them show up again. We'll be able to hit Escape, and this will pop up our window using the Option button. Here it shows the player's name, class that we are stuck in there, our level, current player's level, the area that we're in test, and the instance, which is number 3, currently 1 player online, and our group size is arbitrarily set to 1 until we get function for that one. This will update every 15 seconds with our timer. You'll see maybe the class and the level blink after 15 seconds. Depending on the amount of players that you currently have online working in the game, it will show you those players and where they're currently at. And that's our tutorial for the social window so far. To our social window, we're going to eventually be adding friends list, ignored list, and a search options. When you click on the levels up here, we'll be sorting by name. I'll put them alphabetical, and the levels will be in